Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Design with SolidWorks. Continuing with CSWA practice problems, today we'll work on question 3.2. Let's take a look at this question. So in this question, unit of measurement is millimeter gram second. Like always, we need to ensure we are using the same unit of measurement in our SolidWorks setting. Now, looking at this geometry, as it's mentioned here, the geometry is symmetric. So we could possibly use mirror command to make this geometry. Also, looking at this geometry looks like a fin. If you're a mechanical engineering student and you've already taken heat transfer course, you should be familiar with the concept of the fin. A fin is basically a mechanical component which is used to increase heat transfer rate. In most of the cooling system, you can find some sort of fin with a specific design. So in this question, we are making a geometry similar to the fin, so it's a really good example. You can use that in a real world problems. So in this question, you can see the top view, the overall length of the fin, you can see the front view, and you have two details shown here with some dimensions. So with this introduction, let's jump into SolidWorks and start modeling this part. In SolidWorks, as I mentioned, we need to ensure that we are using the same unit of measurement as it's mentioned in the question, and you can see that we have millimeter gram second, so we are good to go. Now, I want to start with the front plane. So what I can do, I click on a sketch command, and then here I have a sketch, and then here, front plane. Now, because this geometry is symmetric, what I can do, from line command, I can click on drop down menu, and then I click on center line. And then here, I'm gonna make a center line. This is basically a symmetry line for me. Now, I wanna start making my geometry from here. So to do this, I click on line, and then I'm gonna start from here. I make a line like this, I go up, here, here, and here, okay? Also, I'm gonna add another center line because each of these shapes, they should be also symmetric. So I'm gonna add a symmetry line here as well, okay? So now I have my geometry. Let's add some dimensions to it. According to detail B in a question, the distance between this geometry and origin should be 5 millimeters. So I click on a smart dimension, and this distance should be 5 millimeters. Also, we know that this geometry should be symmetric. So what I can do, I can click on this line, hold Control, click on symmetry line, click on this line, and then from the options I have, I'm going to choose symmetric. We know that the width of the fin should be 1 millimeter. So I click on a smart dimension, this should be 1. Because I want to use mirror command with this line that you see here, this is basically half a line. So if this overall width is 1 millimeter, then I'm going to set 0.5 millimeter, because when I use mirror command, I'm going to get 1 millimeter overall. 2 times 0.5 is 1 millimeter. I'm going to do the same things for this line. So click on a smart dimension, and this should be 0.5. Also, we know that these two lines should be in the same line, or they should be collinear. So I click on this line, hold Control, click on the other line, and I'm going to choose collinear from here, okay? Also, looking at detail B or A doesn't matter. We know the angle. The angle should be 93 degrees. So I click on a smart dimension, and this angle should be 93. And finally, if you look at the front view, we have the overall height of the fin. The overall height is 35 millimeters. So I click on a smart dimension, I click on the top line, I click on the origin, and this should be 35, okay? Now you can see that we have a fully defined geometry. Awesome. Next step, we need same shape. If you look at the geometry and you count it, starting from the center point of the geometry, we have 6 fins on the right side and 6 fins on the left side. So when we are repeating a pattern, it's always wise to use linear sketch pattern. So what I can do from a sketch tab, I can click on a linear sketch pattern, and then here I have x-axis, which is correct, And then I'm gonna have 6 instances. And you can click here on pattern, and then you can choose these lines. However, one problem that we have, we don't know the distance between the patterns. So what I can do before using linear sketch pattern, let's cancel this. I want to know the distance between this side and this side. We have a fully defined geometry, so we can easily click on Smart Dimension. I click on this point. I click on this point, and here I have the total distance. If I click on it, I get an error message, which makes sense because my geometry is already fully defined. So I want this dimension just for the reference. Make this dimension driven. Click on it, and I know that that's the distance I have. So I'm going to use this dimension for the distance in my linear sketch pattern. So now let's click on linear sketch pattern. X-axis is correct. Then here I'm going to change to 6, and for the distance I'm going to choose 5.14, and for the pattern I'm going to click on these lines, this one, the top line, this one, and finally this one. Now you can see the starting point of the pattern is right on the end point of the first pattern. That's why I needed this dimension, 5.14. Click on OK. And now we have our geometry copied. Okay? However, you can see that it's not fully defined. Usually this happens. Sometimes when you use mirror command, or most of the times when you use basically linear sketch pattern, you get a geometry which is not fully defined. In this case, it's really easy. You can easily find what the problem is and how you can fix it. Here, for example, I'm going to click on this line and I'm going to move it. So clearly you can see that the sketch is not connected. So it's really easy. I can click on this point, hold Control, click on the other point, and we want these 2 points to be 1 point. So what I can do, I can click on coincident as a relationship. Click on it, and now you can see this line is fully defined. It's black. Now you can also see that still the geometry is not fully defined. Let's see why. Click on it and I can change it. So basically I can change this distance. So this distance is not fully defined. What I can do, I can simply click on a Smart Dimension, click on this line, and I know that this line should have 0.5 millimeter lengths. So click on it, 0.5, and that's it. Now you have a fully defined geometry. So when you use mirror command or linear sketch pattern, circular sketch pattern, don't panic. If you see the geometry is not fully defined, simply drag 1 point from the geometry and see why it's not fully defined. In this case, there were 2 reasons. We resolved those issues and now we have fully defined geometry. Okay, that's great. The only thing that we need to pay attention to is that we don't need this small line at the end. So basically, the line that you see here, we should continue it to the base, and then we need to go to left. So what I can do, I can click on Trim command, and then here I'm going to remove this line. Okay? Awesome. Awesome. Next step, click on Line command, and then here I'm going to connect this line, and then I'm going to left. Okay? And then I'm going to connect it to the base point. Awesome. So now this is our geometry. First of all, we need to ensure that this line and this line, both of them are collinear. You can see that we have that relationship. You may ask, okay, why do we have this point? I understand when you have 2 collinear lines, there's no reason to separate them. So what you can do, you can simply click on that point and hit delete button. And you can see that now I have this geometry. I have it as 1 line, and the problem is that it's not fully defined. Why? Because it was connected to the first line. Now that I remove that point, both of these lines are combined and now they're not fully defined. Let's see why it's not defined. I can simply move it. You see? So what I can do, I can simply click on this line and then I hold control, click on this line, and these two must be parallel. So I click on parallel, and that's it. Or if you think this is not a big deal or just making a problem for you, just keep the point there. You don't need to remove it. But here I removed it because I wanted to have a cleaner sketch. But then after that, the geometry became underdefined, but I resolved that issue. Okay, awesome. So now I have this geometry. Everything is ready. Let's extrude this geometry. Click on feature, go to extruded bus, and now my geometry is selected. I change the direction, and then here for the overall length, I'm going to choose 80 millimeter. This is according to the top view in the question. 80, click on OK, and that's it. Awesome. So now I have half of my geometry. Next step is really easy. We can simply use mirror command. From feature, click on mirror command. And then here you're asked to put the plane, mirror plane. Click on this drop down menu, and then here I'm going to choose right plane. You can see the right plane is passing through the origin, okay? And then for the feature to extrude, you can click on feature to mirror, and then I'm going to choose bus extrude. You can see the preview, click on OK, and that's it. So that's my final geometry. Awesome. So now it's time to check the total volume in a question and making sure that our geometry is correct. Let's go back to the question and find the total volume. In the question, you can see the total volume. The total volume is 98,479 cubic millimeters. Let's go back to SolidWorks and find the total volume for our model. In SolidWorks, in order to check the volume, you can click on Evaluate tab, click on Mass Properties, and here you can see the total volume. As you can see, the total volume is 98,478.58. If you round up this number, you're going to get 98,479 cubic millimeters, which is exactly the same as the volume which is shown in a question. Okay, awesome. So this is showing that our model is correct and accurate. Great. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is a wrap for this video. If you have any question or feedback, please leave comments down below. Thanks again for watching. My name is Ruzbe. Hope to see you again soon in the next videos.